A flat roof is the hallmark of a mid-century modern home, and our original house had one, and the two additions that we're putting on will have one as well. And Tommy, I'm saying a flat roof, they're not exactly flat.
No, in this case, we have what is called about a 3.5-inch pitch. That
Right.
means every 12 inches are going up 3, 24 inches going up 7, and so on down the line.
But they are flat enough that we have to treat them differently because we're worried about water getting into them, so we're not going to just put regular shingles on them.
Yeah, a flat-looking roof still has to have a slope to it for the water to run.
Right.
Whether it looks like it's flat or level this way, maybe there's drains in the middle of the roof. This case is a pitch, so it's going to run off to the edge.
All right, so we've got ourselves a mock-up with some trim here, some sheeting right here. How are we going to waterproof
All right,
this?
well, first of all, this is the rubber that we're going to put on the roof.
So
And
rubber roof is the answer there.
rubber roof, and totally cover the roof like this. All right? Now, when you have a rubber roof over a substrate like we have right here, this is too hard. On a stormy night, let's say a branch blows off a tree and that branch comes around and hits this rubber roof. Because the surface is so high underneath, it can actually cut it.
Okay, so
All
too
right.
hard, what do we use instead?
So what we have to do is we have to prep the roof for the rubber roof. First, we have these nailers, these wooden nailers that are going to run around the perimeter of the roof.
What do you got there, 1/2 inch?
This is 1/2 inch. You can also use 3/8 because you want something a little bit thinner in some cases. All right? And then in the center of that, we're going to use this, we call it iso board. And that's short for polyisocyanurate board.
So this is a little bit of insulation.
Yep. This is a little bit of insulation. This is a 1/2 inch, so you're going to have a little bit, about maybe 3.2. And you can get this in different thicknesses.
And it's, I mean, it's definitely not as hard as the sheeting. There's a little bit of give. I can just barely dimple that with my fingernail.
There is a little bit of give, and that's what you want. So you have a continuous strip of insulation that runs over the roof, which is always good.
Yep.
And this gets fastened with screws and washers.
So we've got a big button on top of the screw right
And
there.
so you'd screw this down through the iso into the substrate. And then you'd put like 2, and then 16 inches you'd do 3, and then 2, and then 3,
Gotcha.
all the way across. Now that totally puts this down.
Yeah.
Okay? When you're going to take the rubber, once you get ready to install that, this rubber is going to get fastened to that substrate and to the edge. It's also, you have to let it overhang the edge, and it's got to run down like that.
Really?
If it doesn't run down like that and you were to cut it off straight, although that might look nicer,
It does look nice right there.
on a windy night, when the wind is blowing and it's raining, you get what is called a negative pressure on the roof, and it's called uplift or flutter. The roof will flutter like that. And the adhesive underneath would stretch enough so that this water, the surface tension of the wind, would drive the water right underneath this roof.
And so that means we're going to actually run this down the side and then here to the side.
That stops that from happening. We'd fold it and do in here. Now to hide that edge, they have a metal bar that you can screw and glue on here.
Yeah.
This case, we're going to use a metal drip edge like this.
Yeah.
And that's going to go on, and that's going to hide that edge. And I like to put it on, not tight, pull it off just a little bit, create a little more space for that water that runs off. You don't want that edge hitting here, causing it to suck onto the fascia board. All right? Now, one more thing that we're going to have to do is we're actually going to take this piece of flashing right here. This is actually called uncured rubber. And we're going to fasten this not only to the rubber itself, but to the metal flashing.
Gotcha.
And that's going to seal that joint, and then we'd put a caulking across this joint here so no water will get under it.
Perfect. All right, well, let's go upstairs.
All right. All right, so they've got most of this section of the roof already glued down. They've glued down about 3/4 of this last piece. They're just rolling the seams, cleaning it up.
Yep.
Next thing they got to do is they're actually going to start to peel that back, the section that's not glued. Now they're going to start installing the contact cement first on the iso board, and then on the underside of the rubber. All right, it's been a few minutes since they applied the glue, so it doesn't stick to you, right?
Look at that.
The glue is going to stick to the glue, all right? So it has to go dry on dry. You ready to roll it, Bob? All right. Now they're going to work it in. They're going to fluff it up and put it in. They push it right in. They only have one shot at this. It's going to go down and flop right over the outside edge. So we still have to put the rest of the soffit and the fascia around, but they're just going to lay this piece on, show you how it's going to look. And that's going to get nailed in place, and then they're going to cover it with the tape and caulk the joint.
Nice.
And that's all there is to it.
That's awesome. Thanks for watching. This Old House has got a video for just about every home improvement project, so be sure to check out the others. And if you like what you see, click on the subscribe button to make sure that you get our newest videos right in your feed.